What's up, recipe decoders? Today I'm going to demonstrate a recipe on how to make these delicious banana crumb muffins. To start off, you're going to need 1 1/2 cups or 260 grams of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon or 7 grams of baking soda, 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon or 5 grams of salt, 3 fairly large ripened bananas, 3/4 cup or 170 grams of white sugar, 1 beaten medium or large egg, 1/3 cup or 75 grams of unsalted butter. Firstly, grab a large bowl with a rubber spatula. And then begin by first adding in the flour, salt, baking soda, and the baking powder. And then give it all a thorough mixing. Last, set it aside for later. Now, moving back to the bananas, you're going to want to first peel them by hand. If you can't find bananas of this size, you can use 4 to 5 smaller bananas instead. Then, just using a small knife, you're going to want to chop the bananas into a small bowl. And remember, make sure they are ripe. The riper they are, the better your recipe will come out. I left these bananas sitting for about 5 extra days before finally deciding to bake with them. Moving on to the stand mixer, first place the mixing bowl and then attach a wire whip. First add in the chopped bananas and begin mixing on a low speed setting. Next, you can go ahead and add in the dry ingredients. Alongside, add in the pre-beaten egg, and then resume mixing it on a low speed setting. Now, add in the butter, which has been sitting at room temperature, alongside the white sugar. Push anything stuck to the wire whip back into the bowl. And then resume mixing it on a low speed setting. The rest of the mixing job should be over pretty quickly. Just keep cleaning the wire whip and the sides of the bowl to keep everything evened out. And continue to mix it on a low speed setting. Then, once the batter becomes soft and jelly-like, it's basically done and you can remove it from the stand mixer. So, now we're left with the batter, but before pouring it into the muffin pan, I needed to transfer it out first. So for this next part, I decided to transfer the batter into a little plastic bag. If you own a piping bag with nozzles, go ahead and use that instead. In this case, I just grabbed the measuring cup and placed the plastic bag inside of it. This was just to allow me to shovel the batter in more carefully, without making much of a mess. Try to get as much of it in there as you can, and once you're finished, remove it from the measuring cup or whatever you use to contain the bag, and then set it aside for later. Because now it's time to make the crumbs that will go on top of the muffins. And to do this, you're going to need 1/3 cup or 30 grams of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons or 25 grams of all-purpose flour, 1/8 teaspoon or 1 gram of ground cinnamon, and 1 tablespoon or 14 grams of unsalted butter. First, grab a small bowl. Then add in the brown sugar, flour, ground cinnamon, and the unsalted butter. Then grab a fork and begin to rapidly mix and press down all of the ingredients until everything blends together. If you prefer to use a pastry cutter instead of a fork, feel free to do so. But keep in mind, you want to keep mixing until everything appears slightly chunky and crumb-like with a hint of brown. Afterwards, you can finally grab a muffin pan and line it with paper cups. Then, grab your bag of muffin dough and carefully snip one of the corner edges with a scissor. Just try not to spill anything. Now, while holding the bag firmly with your palms, just twist the opening of the bag to compress the batter. And then, carefully press it out into each of the paper cups. I filled each one to about 2/3 of the way, but generally, just try to avoid overfilling them to the top. Just squeeze as much of it out as you can, and when it feels like nothing else is there, simply discard the bag. Then, bring out the bowl of crumbs and sprinkle them out into the muffin tray. Don't worry about being messy with it, because you definitely want to use up every last bit of it. Afterwards, just dust off any crumbs that didn't make it into the muffin cups. And now it can go in the oven for about 18 to 20 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius. After about 18 to 20 minutes, check a couple of the muffins with a knife. If it comes out clean, this means the muffins are basically finished and you can remove them from the oven to cool. And after letting them cool for about 8 to 10 minutes, you can go ahead and remove them from the muffin tray. And now it's time for the taste test. Immediately after baking, all I could smell in my kitchen was an ongoing scent of bananas. But biting into one is very soft and slightly spongy. and the bananas really did add a nice touch to it. It's almost like banana bread, but easier to bite into like a regular muffin. As for these banana crumb muffins themselves, I genuinely enjoyed them. They are perfect to eat in the mornings for breakfast or whenever you personally choose to. And that's pretty much it for this recipe video. Did your banana crumb muffins come out good? If so, leave a like and or comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.